Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Now, as I've mentioned, I am running a race. The Toucan race will arrive, Private League number 5148, which is open to people in the community, both that want to either play competitively, or that want to play more casually, in a harder mode version of the Legion League. The mods that are in place, if you haven't been following this league so far, are Increased Monster Life 2, Increased Monster Speed 2, additional multiple monster projectiles, reduced player resistances 2, and no magic or rare items drop. These have a few effects on how you build a character for it, and so I'm building with solo self-found in mind, and also subject to a little bit of a restriction that I'm putting on myself. This has come from a vote that I ran on the YouTube channel, which is what should I build around? And I put up 4 different options. One of them was poison, and that won. Some of the others were a fireball trickster, some sort of elementalist, and there was another option as well that didn't end up winning. So anyways, it turns out people have voted for poison, and so I wanted to talk about how I've gone about designing a poison-based character. Firstly, I've never played poison before, but I do know from looking in depth at all of the different ascendancies that there's really 2 main choices. You can go Pathfinder, or you can go Assassin. Assassin tends to be the default choice. It combines powerful critical strike modifiers with absolutely no defenses and a bunch of very relevant poison nodes. Assassin scales poison excellently in conjunction with critical strikes. However, I'm not going to be able to rely upon getting access to the Corralito's signature unique diamond flask. For that reason, I'm a little apprehensive about playing as an assassin. There's no defenses, and this league has a number of mods that increase monster damage. And also, I've got no... in the absence of any defenses, and with the no magic or rare items drop, I may well find myself running low on life and resists at various points in leveling. And so for that reason, I've decided I want to go with a ranged character, and I want to have some solution where I can deal damage from range whilst also having a high amount of damage for burst damage against bosses. For that reason, I've decided I'm going to go with a Pathfinder. Pathfinder has a number of synergies with both dealing poison damage directly yourself and also with Herald of Agony. And so I'm going to go for a hybrid approach. Now, having never played Herald of Agony, although I have certainly looked into the skill in depth for some of my preparation for the Synthesis Flashback event, I was considering running a Herald of Agony character and decided against it. So I've done a bit of research into those builds. And generally speaking, their goal, if you're a pure Herald of Agony character, your goal is to attack as quickly as possible and to hit as many monsters as you can in order to stack as many stacks of virulence as you can. Then you let your Herald of Agony do all of the work. This tends to be pretty solid against bosses and also in confined areas. However, it's a bit lacking in general clear. On the other hand, there's Rain of Arrows is a skill that does considerable damage to multiple targets at once and attacks very fast, allowing you to stack up lots of poisons. So what I decided I'd do is do a little bit of research using the Legion League and the builds that are listed on PoE.Ninja. Now, PoE.Ninja is an incredible resource. What this site does is it scrapes the ladder. This is the build section, so when you first load PoE.Ninja, this is not going to be what comes up. This screen will come up, and then you'll just click the builds guide. What this site does is it scrapes the ladder for the event, and that's currently running. So at the moment, this is the main Legion League. And it will look at all the characters that have achieved the lowest level you need to be on the ladder. So that means to be in the top approximately 15 to 20,000 characters by experience. At the moment, PoE.Ninja is able to scrape everyone that is level 95 or higher unless they've explicitly opted out of it. And what I've done is I've filtered by characters that have the Master Toxicist node, which is the Herald of Agony specific Pathfinder node. So the first thing that I've done, let's just remove all of the other filters that are on there. is hide every build that doesn't use Master Toxicist. And in order to do that, all you need to do is just go start typing Master, and it will be one of the options that comes up here. At this point, there's only 48 characters with this node. It's not very popular in the current meta. People that are playing Pathfinder generally choose not to be a poison-based character at the moment. Doesn't mean that it can't work, it's just that it's not popular enough for people that are getting to level 95. At this point, our next step is going to be to look at the various various skills that players that are experiencing a lot of success with Pathfinders are finding. So, character that's the highest level 99, is a Viper Striker. I don't want to go Viper Strike, and I don't want to go anything melee in this league because of all of the extra damage that I'm going to be taking, and because I'm going to have terrible defensive gear. And that's due to the nature of these league mods, particularly this one. No magic and rare items drop. I'm going to be reliant upon throwing essences on white items that I loot off the ground, alchemy orbs, and often I'm going to just be using trashy magic items. So for that reason, I'm expecting my resist will be well under cap, and especially in conjunction with this. And so for that reason, I want to be a long way from monsters so that I can sidestep spells as much as possible. So for that reason, I'm going to exclude from contention all Viper Strike related builds. We have Caustic Arrow, which I believe is not really a poison skill generally. Obviously, this player's experiencing a bit of success with using it on the Pathfinder in conjunction with Herald of or in conjunction with the node that is best with Herald of Agony. But that could be an outlier, or they could have some specific functionality that I haven't picked up. In any case, here we have someone who's using Toxic Rain and Despair. There's a lot of Toxic Rain builds. Toxic Rain, however, doesn't really seem to scale very much poison damage itself. It does a lot of chaos damage over time, and the people that are experiencing success with it, I was checking a few of them out before, they scale non-ailment chaos damage over time. And this means that they're basically not really a poison build. So for that reason, what I ended up deciding to do is to filter only to show players that are using, as a major skill, that are using Herald of Agony. And then at this point, I have Toxic Rain, Cyclone, and Rain of Arrows. The people that are running Toxic Rain are just using it because it is the fastest skill to land hits on enemies in order to proc poisons and to make your Herald of Agony, your Agony Crawler, as strong as possible. That's not my goal. My goal is to deal appreciable damage via poison, and so for that reason, Cyclone's out because I don't want to be up close and personal, and so Rain of Arrows it is. There's only one player that's been following this strategy on the ladder at the moment, so let's have a quick look at how they've built their character for a bit of inspiration. And I'm just having a quick look. You'll see they're using Calm's Heart, they're using Stark Conjurer's Head. I'm not going to have access to these items unless I get very lucky. Generally speaking, they're then using rare items. Maloney's Mechanism, again, no chance of getting my hands on that. And then a multi-modded bow, Elder Bow, and then a very powerful set of Elder Gloves, and powerful set of unique boots. Again, there's a lot of things here that I can't replicate, but broadly speaking, and 2 Might of the Meeks as well is another good example. But broadly speaking, there's a lot of stuff in there that I can learn a bit from while building my own character. Another one that I found that was of interest was this character who is a Toxic Rain damage character, and I took some information from how they've built their character as well. In any case, I've then gone and put it all into Path of Building, which I will jump across to, and I've come up with a starting point for a build. Now, one thing I have done is I have taken some passive nodes that provide elemental resistances. These are not normally something you would take if you didn't have the specific rule set of this challenge league. So the 40% penalty to elemental resists and the lack of magic and rare items dropping. Those 2 things, however, put a bit of a premium onto getting access to more elemental resistance on the tree than you would normally get, and you want it fairly early. So for that reason, I've taken these 3 pretty unpopular nodes in the Scion area, I really should be taking that 1-point jewel as well. I don't know why I left that out. And then, even though I'm not going to get access to great jewels, I'll still get enough that I can find something. I then take some early life and some early life nodes. Then come through to Finesse, which is just an outright very good node. Heart of Oak is an extraordinarily good life node, so of course we take that. Then we come down here. We're going to need, I believe we need Druidic Rite, but I'll take it late. It does have flask effect. No, actually with flask effect I'll take it early. I always think of this as a mana node, and then I forget that it's good. It makes all your flasks better. Next up, we've got two options. We can go right and pick up Herbalism and then Survivalist. Survivalist just because of, or primarily because of the 11% to all resistances between those two nodes, but it does have its own other benefits as well. And then Acrobatics and Phase Acrobatics. Phase Acrobatics is an excellent defensive layer, Acrobatics is an excellent defensive layer, and we're going to be having crap all over the screen because all enemies have multiple projectiles. Then pull through here for Bravery, because Bravery is a very good set of nodes. Art of the Gladiator is also quite solid. And then we'll start moving up, pick up the free jewel, and then take the Scion Resist nodes. These, again, not something that people would normally take. It's not that resist nodes are terribly weak, it's just they're not considered good value for a point compared to the opportunity cost of taking them. We'll then path through the Scion's very powerful life wheel, and once we've filled up all of the essentials, then we're going to come back and fill out all the rest of the life wheel as well. Come up through Shaper, which is a surprisingly powerful node. I always like it when I get it. I feel a lot of builds feel a lot better when they get that big boost to mana regen and life regen in one node. It's one of those nodes that's a real overperformer in my book. We're going to pick up Spiritual Command. Spiritual Command in conjunction with Spiritual Aid provide a lot of benefit for your Agony Crawler and also for you. They'll considerably amp up, between the two of them, they'll considerably amp up the amount of damage that you do with your own attacks as well, and they'll do that at the same time as buffing your Agony Crawler. Then come through Retribution and Discipline and Training. Unfortunately, we've got to take two elemental damage nodes. They suck, but they give us Holy Dominion, which is at least has 12% all res. So these three nodes together, they don't give us very much. We do have to pass through them, but they're basically 12% all res and 12% increased physical damage. Not great, but we have to path through here somehow, and I don't see any superior choices. And again, as I say, very good to get my hands on that. For some reason I thought this node here was an elemental resistance node, but it's not. Then at that point, I'll save the 3-point jewel. I may end up not taking that 3-point jewel. It's an option. In fact, let's just cull it for the moment. Then we've got Strength. Devotion is a very good life node. 3% effective auras is always nice. Come down here, get Strength, Intelligence, and just in travel nodes. Then we have the Spiritual Aid cluster. Spiritual Aid is the last thing that I'm going to specify in advance that I'm definitely going to go for. As far as the Pathfinder side of things goes, given that this is a race to 125 Atlas bonus, I'm not certain I'm going to bother with the Eternal Labyrinth. The Eternal Labyrinth is a moderately significant power boost for every character. However, I feel it will come so late in progression that the time that's necessary to unlock the Eternal Labyrinth will probably not end up being paid back to me, especially given that I'm not certain how easy I'll find the Eternal Labyrinth on this character. And so for that reason, especially with the rule set in place, Zara having 40% more life is nasty as well, and 20% faster means there's a lot of chances to die in there. So for that reason, I'm going to be prioritizing Master Toxicist. So the first node that I'm going to take from the normal labyrinth is going to be Nature's Reprisal. Whenever you kill a poison enemy during a flask effect, nearby enemies are poisoned. I believe that node will be fairly strong, but I don't have experience with poison myself to be certain of that. But also, just getting added chaos damage is increased chaos damage is a bonus. Next up, we get Master Toxicist, which, as we said, is fantastic. Losing virulence 50% slower makes your agony crawler considerably stronger. And next up at the Merciless Labyrinth, we get Nature's Adrenaline. I may end up deciding to change up this order. I may go Nature's Adrenaline first because it is the most powerful of the nodes. I'll just have to decide that how it feels when I get to the normal labyrinth. If I were to do the Eternal Labyrinth, I'd probably end up taking, well, I could take Nature's Boon, which has a lot of benefits to me. Master Surgeon I don't think is that great, so I'd probably end up just going Nature's Boon. I get nothing from Veteran Bowyer at all, even though it's one of the most popular Pathfinder nodes to take. So yeah, if I do go to the Eternal Labyrinth, it'll be Nature's Boon. As far as other things go, I'm going to basically just wing it with everything else. I'm definitely going to use Herald of I'm going to use Herald of Agony as soon as it becomes available, and I'm also going to use the. I'm just going to bring up the Path of Exile wiki page on Herald of Agony as we're speaking. So let's go transition over to this. So Herald of Agony becomes available at level 16, and importantly, is it available for the Ranger? Yes, it is. It becomes available after you complete Intruders in Black in Act 2. I may end up even rushing that when I get to Act 2, because it will be such a powerful upgrade to get my hands on that. Rain of Arrows is the other key skill that we're going to be using, and always worthwhile just getting a sense. That's level 12, which means that it's available before Merveil. I'm expecting Merveil to be really rough with this league's rule set, and so for that reason I'm going to make sure that I am at least level 12 before I even consider taking her on. But anyways, those are my initial plans for this build, and we will see how we go. All sorts of things can change over time, and maybe I'll end up changing around my build plans. But this is where I'm starting. If you've got any questions, fire away. And if you've got any guides that you're building as to how you want to play in the Toucan Race League, leave a link in the comment section below, or send me a private message on Reddit, and I'll give a call out to them. Otherwise, I hope you have fun with the league. Have a good one.